like cosplay romancing flesh. Whatever that thing is. What? Let's go. I see. Oh.
Did I read?
Yeah.
The warden wants to see you. Follow me.
This...
Something Correctional Institute, 1946. He's all yours, sir.
You're relieved, Jeremiah. Best get home to the missus.
Thank you, sir. I'm still here.
I transformed this little correctional institute from a dingy country jail to one of the top facilities in the country. Did you know that?
Oh, it was county and dingy.
I didn't do that just by imprisoning small-time crooks, murderers, and thieves. No, sir.
Who are you talking to?
Over the years, I've created a very specific type of prisoner.
Sir, can I leave now?
Deviants.
Do you need anything else?
Deviant artists. They're not like you or me. Sickos, perverts, communists, whatever you want to call them. They can't be rehabilitated because they're barely human to begin with.
You start off by calling them deviants, then a bunch of other names, and then saying whatever you want.
And the strangest part is, you think every part of their brain is broken, but they could still feel shame.
Your hair is bald, but it doesn't look that, sleek.
If Father 3 will try to shoot you dead, if you accuse him of putting on dresses and having sex with hellboys. Bellboys. A well-to-do woman would stick her head in her oven before she'd admit to a dalliance with the colored boy down the road. And hell, even my own mother would goddamn something. But me or Dad would beat the snot out of her if we found out that before she croaked on us. It's because the thing gets confessions from these freaks. Now, normally when a district attorney needs a bit more time to build a case against one of these deviants, they'll rush them through courts. Yeah, courts on some trumpeted up charge. Keep them in prison for a while, and hopefully buy enough time to build a case. But if they can't, Dissident Correctional Institute will get a confession for them. Read the works of Fraud, Feud, Moreno, and Watson.
Elmer Frood.
He's the reduced the experiments of Palvin Skinner and consulted with Wortham, Miller, and Jung.
Frank Miller.
And we've distilled them all with an efficient methodology that loosens the prisoner's tongue, while leaving them free of the physical cuts and bruises that they don't play well to judge and juries. Real human-like.
Humane.
Yes, humane-like. But listen to me, ramble on.
Well, I think you've been talking to your chair for a while.
The reason I brought you in here is because your cellmate, Mr. Charles Keating, is one of those deviants. We've tried our best to build a psychological profile on him, find a proper plan of attack, but Mr. Keating managed to run out of the clock on us. Mr. Keating will have served his sentence as of midnight tonight, unless we get a confession in the next few hours. I want you to read these documents from the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Why me?
If you believe anything in these documents can be used to get a confession out of Mr. Keating, we need to know. In return, if you merely read these documents, even if you don't find anything, we'll consider your sentence served.
So if I don't do anything, can I leave?
I know, it sounds too good to be true. Anyway, can you tell us might be the key, keeping this monster behind bars?
Oh yeah, anything you tell us might.
Yes, it sounds weird. It doesn't fit into this world.
No, it fits perfectly.
He belongs with me.
Why with you?
Drag it,
to move it, click it to view it.
That one's burnt up. That somehow got caught there. That's that. And
Okay, click on one. Dearest Mother, the bus trip is a bit longer and more uncomfortable than I was expecting, but I should be in Alabama within a few days. I've called Dr. Petrov's office and he assures me his facility is a few hours outside of Fayette. So I'm not as far from civilization as I feared. I may have to forego the nightly edition of the paper, but we all must make deep sacrifices in times of war. Please remind Father that Dr. Petrov's work is being funded by the U.S. Army, and although I won't exactly be one of the tough SOBs marching into Hirohito's palace, I'll be an active contributor to the war effort. Besides, I hear if I were a service member, the letters I send you would look like Swiss cheese, like the other one that's over there, and we don't want to exaggerate your lactose intolerance. That was a joke. I hope this letter finds you in better spirits than when I left, and in worse spirits than when I'm there. Your loving son, Charles.
Charles.
Next thing.
Mitosis. Is it
Yeah. An image of the bus.
the bus that you ride on?
Image of your house?
Nah. Oh, film. Recording data February 12th, 1942.
Hello.
Dr. Petrov. I'm sorry for the call. The bus trip was taking a bit longer than I was expecting, but I should be there in just a couple of more days.
That's fine. I'm still setting up the lab, and most of my supply shipment will be arriving late as well. I'm rubbing something like really nice right now, so don't come in. You should be in town just in time to help me get everything up and running.
It just seems weird looking. Good. Is there anything I should brush up on before I get to the lab?
Well, you can give me a cat so this doesn't look so weird.
I managed to grab a decent selection of medical journals while I was in Boston.
He's very sassy, Adam. Flat cellular structure.
There's over the phone. What? Oh,
You are the weirdest guy.
That's a different kind of thing there.
The nature of the work we'll be doing is a bit cross-disciplinary. I trust your medical knowledge is up to date, but I need to make sure you've brushed up on some of the basics of botany.
That was just a very creepy doctor. I suppose I could visit a bookstore while we're at a stop. The newsstand should have some periodicals.
Oh, now he's done with his hands? But his face is so weird? No need for the latest journals, Mr. Keating.
His cheek is just swollen.
You don't need to know the latest scientific learnings, but you should be able to write and illustrate a grade school textbook on basic plant biology with your eyes closed before you get here.
I'll make sure to study hard on that trip over.
Good lad.
Oh.
Now give me that money. And if you could bring a tin of real coffee, I'd appreciate it. We're down to the stuff cut with chicory down here.
I was just pinching something. I'll try my best, sir. See you in a few days. Click.
Oh, I forgot to ask if it was alright for me to record the call.
Oh. Tape shut off.
Dearest Mother.
Why? Oh. Science is a poor pursuit for a young man.
Did you find anything?
Too much, infatuation. Infatuation with a new and novel. With no room to appreciate the refuge of tradition. Quite frankly, Mr. Keating should have seen what, was coming next.
A crash?
Well, there's more.
There's this thing.
Hmm.
It has fingers, a mouth, and fingers.
Pretty hairy, too. Whatever that is, the little tin. Let's look at that image first.
Cellular reproduction?
Yes. Other stuff.
Dear Aunt Sanja. Happy birthday. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person this year, but I hope my package arrived in time for the party. Work has been busier than expected. I'm sorry if my last few letters gave the impression that I can be frank about the work I'm doing, but now that the lab is fully operational and the experiments have started in earnest, I realize some self-censorship on my own part will be required. So I will use this black marker and censor half of what I say.
Yes.
In the vaguest terms possible, my work involves supplementing the Army's diet with quick and cheap meat, but Dr. Petrov has some lofty goals for where the research could lead. I'm sorry to say your sister's son attended college to become a glorified sausage maker, but it's not the worst place war could have taken me. I am cloning cows. That being said, Dr. Petrov is very passionate about the work we're doing. It's miles different from the lab work at Turf's College. There's a half dozen experiments in different stages of development, and every day I'm learning something new. It's frantic and fast-paced, but energizing. It'll be a while before we're manufacturing canned meats, but I could probably trade you some jerky for your homemade fudge by next Christmas.
Oh.
Loving nephew. Is this the video? Insert the fly.
Well,
Insert the fly.
whatever that thing's doing. What about the other stuff?
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is the film.
March 8th, 1942. This is subject 42FA5, and it's time for her meal.
Oh, now it's
FA series,
Oh.
it seems to be able to sense when the fly is near, but further experimentation will be needed to determine how.
Oh. It just takes up.
Okay, and then click in, and then
Now it's this.
recorded, dated March.
God.
Oh, I'm back. There, we're recording now. What are you pointing at?
I don't want to be recorded. Now, what the hell did you get me involved with, Dr. Pepper?
Well, I was like mixing my coffee with my fingers, so it's a flower, Charles.
Oh. It has teeth.
You don't know that. Yes, the teeth were expected. Oh, wait, unexpected. But look how evenly they grew in.
The dentistry.
Dentistry?
Dentistry isn't the issue, Dr. Pellerin. What are you doing is unethical.
It's not ethical. What? Wait, how exactly is it unethical?
You've ripped apart a living, breathing thing to make.
Mr. Keating. Why are you looking up and also like moving your hand like that?
He's trying to figure out what he's touching.
No, this isn't a butcher shop. I'm not hacking and stitching animals together like cheap circus attractions. I use Elmer's glue. The best glue I could possibly use.
Non-toxic.
I grew this flower from something. I fertilized the egg by needle injection in my lab.
What do you mean grew?
Well, you put some dirt, you water it, and usually like, it comes out of a seed. I thought everybody knew this. Now, before it reaches the embryonic stage, you can count the number of cells inside a blossom by hand. See, look at this hand, I'm counting. Now, if you have an expensive microscope, a small needle, and lots of time, you can even identify what each of those individual cells could grow and divide into. See, you can do it at your house if you have enough money and microscopes.
Try it at home.
So I take those individual cells, and instead of letting it grow into a monkey, I manually remove what I don't want it to grow and rearrange what I do want to grow. So it was a monkey?
But why turn it into that?
Food. You read those botany books? Like I told you to, yes?
Yes.
Now I have a fist. Almost. Kind of grabbing onto something. Going just up and down. Very simple structure, aren't they? Most of the plant is made of the same type of cell. No complicated organ systems, no skeletal structure, and no need for a centralized brain. If I took these pre-embryonic masses of cells and just rearranged them willy-nilly, I'd create thousands of malformed failures before I stumbled on a useful form. So instead, I used plant structures as a basis to rearrange the cells, and the results have been astounding. Just a few rows of my pseudo-plant cell design, and it not only maintains structure, but continues growing it naturally. Like the animal cells can remember their plant roots, pardon the pun, of course.
But you're missing the point. You're not growing new life. You're forcing something to suffer from its own birth.
They don't suffer, Charles. They're stupid. I've been analyzing their brain patterns. They use so little energy to grow. Their brains default to a dream state, a calm, peaceful sleep. So they're always in a coma.
And then we're killing them for their meat.
Yes, we do that every day. So what's the difference? Yes, but someday I'll design them to grow as large as trees, shedding meat like apples of their branches. I think off their branches. Living for hundreds of years. Giant meaty plants.
It would stink.
A forest of these trees will negate the need to raise animals for slaughter, ending a 10,000-year genocide of innocent creatures. I already bought a plot of land a bit further north for when I'm ready to grow them.
So why are they looking at the camera?
He's looking at the map. He's like, I should have probably bought it next to like a better spot. Place has like no commercial value. I can't resell it. If this all goes south, I might buy like a house or something. I thought it would take decades for me to make something like this, but then I found you. I read your paper on atypical embryonal, he flickered, development, and it felt like a practical extension of my own work on the teratology of plants and animals.
That paper was on the birth defects, Petrov. I can't do that to animals on purpose.
What's evolution if not a series of beneficial birth defects? What would take 1,000 generations and dead ends to spontaneously develop, we could grow overnight.
A little long recording.
My hand is back. While other scientists are trying to fix the problems nature gave us, we'll design a sustainable future for the plant.
Well, it should be a future without biting flowers, at least.
This tape is really long.
But maybe you could isolate that stomach, and rearrange a structure like a Venus flytrap.
Yes. Venus flytrap. See, I'm glad I recorded that because I am out of pen ink.
Tape
so I put like my finger and went like, yeah, I'm writing.
Yeah, it just goes back through all this again. Alright.
Now I'm back with my water.
Now, a man like you, or I, would know better. When the witch is in the woods, welcome you into her gingerbread house. You don't accept the invitation. You throw her in the fire.
Okay, now put this over here, one of these over there, and this over there.
Now, what do you think? What do you think? I want to see the...
Well, this got disgusting fast.
Oh.
Like a bunch of little tentacles and stuff.
Yeah. It's got little arms.
Yeah, it's a big meaty flower.
And a big nipple. That one kind of
looks at least more interesting, but it would still look kind of creepy.
Yeah. Well, now to the note, and then we'll go to the...
Dear Cousin Delilah, I've been paying extra to get the hometown paper shipped down here in Alabama, and I read that you won a blue ribbon for your peanut butter fudge at the county fair last month. You must be absolutely over the moon. Woo. I can relate to a lesser extent, as I've told you in my last correspondence, I'm finally getting the hang of the work which must be secret, and I've managed to make a breakthrough of my own. Meaty flowers. Essentially, for the past year, I've been trying to perfect Dr. Petrov's recipes. He'll make some new sort of confectionery, and when he feels like I'm ready, I'll go through the hard work of perfecting it. A little less flour here, a little more baking powder there, trying to get the ratios just right. But I finally made a recipe of my own. I hope someday I can share it with you and the rest of the family and make you as proud as you all make me, especially the ribbon winners among us.
Oh.
P.S. Take heed. Your mother won't stay the number 2 baker in the family for long, and she'll make everyone in the family fat with fudge until she reclaims her crown.
Her crowny fudge. Fudge crown. Recording dated August 24th, 1942.
Okay, it's on. Say that again, Charles, while I finger my
Chimera. What?
Yes, but the whole thing, you drunk, the entire thing you said, the whole thing had holes.
Okay. The plant animals we've been growing tend to be fairly small for a lot of reasons. We've only grown them from a single rearranged blastocyst. We've only allowed them a few weeks to reach maturity. The plants can't grow faster than an animal's parts it came from would.
Yes, but get to the important part.
Okay, so our experiments with grafting have been failures. But instead of trying graft during adulthood, we can simply make our pre-embryonic blueprints bigger by using more blastocysts.
And this wouldn't result in rejection because
we have all documented cases of siblings ingesting other smaller embryos in the womb, resulting in the embryo containing cells from both siblings' chimeras. We will merely start that stage and process even earlier and assemble larger plants.
now that applies we can only use genetic siblings to build these plants. I assume we can't use other animals to genetically unsimilar.
We can certainly experiment and find out. I'd certainly like to see a rabbit pigeon. Pigeon, dandelion, or something. You blow on it, and a bunch of seeds will fly out on the rabbit's ear wings.
You see, inspiration can strike at any time, Charles. We would have forgotten all about this in the morning.
Yes, fine. I can see the merits of your little recording device there. Oh, another idea. What if we made plant animals that interconnected with each other, like pieces of a puzzle piece? You could have one plant specifically designed to collect and refine nutrients, which could feed a second plant that could just focus on growing bigger.
That's a strange place to need a mouth, Charles.
Wherever you'd like to put your mouth is fine to me, Dr. Petrov.
Are you guys weird? What was that?
Oh, yes. It was just a little joke. Let's call it a night. You aren't recording this by chance, are you?
Well, those two are weird.
That one's a weird fuck. If they stopped there, we might be hailing them as a gastronomic pioneers. Heck, they might have eaten a ribeye salad for dinner tonight. But I think they wanted more than food. Oh, if they stopped there it goes. Well, a lot of imagery.
Well, that got weird.
That one looks more fun looking.
She ate it.
Yeah, like an old kebab.
And that thingy.
Yeah, in the beginning.
Dear Great Uncle Anthony, I tried recreating your famous dry rub mix. Some of the ingredients were hard to come by, rationing and all that, but I think we managed to get a close approximation. We threw a little backyard barbecue for the neighborhood to test our first production batch of meat, and it was a resounding success. This whole experience has given me a newfound appreciation for this time I spent on the farm when I was younger. Dr. Petrov nearly fainted during the butchering process, leaving me to do it all on my own. He reminded me of the time you put Clarabelle chicken on my dinner plate. Please write back when you have the chance. I'm dying to hear how the rest of my family is doing. Your city slicker grandnephew Charles.
Now.
Me up all this. Audio log 103042. We may have hit a snag with the rabbit experiment. Off screen, are you recording along?
This is a lover's spat, Sergei. They'll be together in no time.
The rabbit's new leg bit it, Charles. I warned you this might happen if we didn't engineer both the animals together that way.
Ulna was a little confused, that's all. I'll let Jack settle down for a couple of days, and I'm sure he'll take Ulna back.
After seeing how quickly Jack took to his new leg, I was more than happy to let this whole thing keep going. But is this necessarily the best thing for both of them? Ulna can move around on their own, and so can Jack. They're not wholly dependent on one another. Maybe we could just let them stay friends?
Just stay friends?
We should really be focusing on our real work. Plus, this is starting to veer off both of our areas of expertise. Let's just call the experiment off for now.
You want to call it off, Sergei? Well, maybe I should take your advice and engineer a new symbiote for Ulna. Then a partner might solve Ulna's problems.
Well, we don't know what sort of effect that'll have on Jack, mentally speaking. Again, Charles, this is all very new to me.
Everything we've been doing has been new to me. Some new experimental organism, a novel discovery, some unexpected results. And it is exciting. Don't get me wrong. But it's nice to have someone reliable in all of that chaos, who is all a little exciting himself. And I'm glad that a person has been you.
Maybe we can keep the Jack and Ulna experiment going?
We could pick up the discussion in the morning, if you prefer. That's all that. Everything you read so far is what I had to scrape and scrounge to get from government files. Yeah, you have to click in. No! Rest of the boys. So you already read all the juicy stuff. The rest of the boys is blue is mopping up. Well, it's the last things then. Maybe. A lot of documents. Oh, they killed a very, very weird tree bamboo thingy. Bamboo creature. Memo from the Office of Redacted. As my JAG officer has previously claimed on my behalf, Dr. Sergei Petrov was awarded a government contract from General who died during, resulting in a transaction period in which most of Petrov's work of an already secretive nature was done with the little to no oversight until my office was made aware of it. Unfortunately, my upcoming absolvement may result in many more officers lower along the chain of command being found at fault. Officers you do not want to bring to court during these desperate times. Considering the improbability of systematic failure within the U.S. Armed Forces, I suggest we propose the possibility that foreign agents were involved under the specific circumstances Petrov was working as a contractor. Treason charge would take him outside of U.S. military jurisdiction and tried as a civilian. You're welcome. Oh, next document, the middle or right. It's an important narrative. On the above date, P.O. Daniels responded to a call about an escaped animal. Upon finding the loose cow, P.O. Daniels saw its mouth was covered in blood. Upon closer inspection, the grass the cow was eating
was some sort of malformed rat stuck in the ground.
Ah, damn it.
After calling for backup, officers discovered a sizable anchorage of buried, deformed animals. Mr. Keating became agitated. In response, officers were forced to put him into submission. Mr. Petrov was taken into custody for questioning. For health and safety reasons, it was decided to humanely dispatch the animals before bringing Mr. Petrov into custody.
Last one then.
2. Mr. Keating and I are currently in Fayette County Jail. I believe the police have set fire to most of our work. I tried to save as much of our work as possible, but please send copies of all records I've sent so far to your offices, and if you have any internal copies or correspondence, please send those as well. We made remarkable progress in the last few months, and I believe if we act quickly, we can still reach our first production deadline, Sergei Petrov.
We live in a delicate world, in a fragile time. There's not an era for radical new ideas. We just fought a long and hard war to reestablish a grand order of world for heaven's sake. And on American soil, a couple of our dandy bookworms were playing God and feeding diseased meat to our children. I couldn't stand it. So I took a leaf from Mr. Petrov's playbook. I psychologically tore Mr. Keating's part and reformed and re-educated him as I saw fit.
Into you.
And disassociated state you're in, Mr. Keating, it gives you a sense of clarity, doesn't it? You can see what I see. Why didn't your family ever write you back? Why did your lover try to rescue his work instead of you? If you leave this prison tonight, where can you go? You know the answer. You know why you're here. You know why you need to sign this confession. Why do you need this to stay behind bars? You left home and traveled across the country, hoping you would change into a sort of person for your family would miss. But instead of doing something to make them proud, you decided to pursue what made you happy and became a sick caricature of everything your parents hated about you in the first place. A mama's boy sticking his meat into the dirt, hoping it'll grow. Sign a confession. If you leave this prison now, you'll undo all the work I've done for you. You'll fall back into the bad habits and become the same person you were 3 years ago. And none of us want that, would you? No, I don't want to change back, Warden. Oh.
Yeah, that was the other guy.
So,
I've made so much progress. Did his face fall off? Yep.
Oh, so much progress. It was hard fabricating.
No, it's not. Or.
Oh. It was hard fabricating the equipment necessary to continue Dr. Petrov's work. But you wouldn't believe how fruitful my experience have become. And quite frankly, I like the person I've become.
Those like little hands in his mouth. How many things are you made of?
It took me months to find you. You didn't answer when I called your name. From a distance, I almost couldn't recognize you. But I found you. I hope you're dreaming of me. Drinking from the brook. Eating the fruits from your branches. Huddling from rain and sleet in your safe embrace. And someday, in a brief moment of lucidity, maybe you'll read this message and know I'm gone. You wanted us to change the world, and we did. Starting with ourselves. I've always remembered you fondly, love, Charles.
The end. Oh, that was fun.
That was interesting. Oh, Let's get out of here. That was pretty long, too.
Bye.